this one. It's been a while since I've been sitting here, so there we go, I think. Yes, let there be light. It is so nice to see you again, and I hope you've had a pleasant time since I saw you last time. It's a long time ago, right? Did I miss 2 or 3? Let me think. Monday, I think it's 2. I hope it's not more than 2. That's bad if it is. Well, it is what it is. But it's very nice to be back, and I'm finally feeling better. My voice is still not completely back, but it's good enough so that we can we can have a sitting together. I've missed it. It's been interesting to see how... hey, Nadia. Hey, Stephen. I didn't see you there. It's been interesting to see how it's such a big part of my life to have the Mondays and Thursdays and meeting everyone and just sitting down and not sitting alone. I've sat quite a bit more than normally now that I've been sick, especially since I've woken up at night with a fever most of the nights. But it's not the same as sitting with others, even if it's online like this. So I miss it, and it's nice. I'm so tired today, but my fiance said, "Are you sure you're able to?" Like, yeah, I'm not gonna miss it again. That's not gonna happen. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's just nice to be here. I hope you've been well, and that you've had that you haven't stopped sitting just because we didn't have the evenings. That's one of the best parts about having a regular place you go to, or a regular practice where you meet people, is that you have accountability. There's someone there, and like we recognize that we're there, and then we come back, and when we don't, then you think, oh, I should have been there. Nadia, do you meditate when you're unwell? How does it feel? Oh, yeah, I really enjoy meditating when I'm unwell. It's it can be interesting because it feels different. Again, if you go into meditation with the idea that you do it because you want to feel really good, and because you want to feel well and just have these blissful states, then maybe it seems strange to do it when you're sick. But if you do it from my perspective, which is to actually see how we create pressure towards the world around us and inside of us, and how that ruins our ability to enjoy just being here, that effortlessness and peacefulness of just being, where there's nothing you need to do, there's nowhere you need to go, you're just there. That is ruined when you have a pressure against the world outside or inside of you. So by practicing to be okay when things are not well, that's actually one of the best ways to practice, because then you're getting okay with not being okay. I'm just gonna turn on the AC. Oops, a little bit cold. I mean warm. It's getting stuffy in here, and I still feel, I don't have a fever, but it feels, yeah, that's so nice. Let's see. It's so luxurious, by the way, having AC. I remember when I was in Sri Lanka, I would sit in some temples. I would just have like sweat pouring down because it was so warm. And mosquitoes. Second time I had dengue fever, then I was really bad. I remember I'm not kidding, I think I had like 50 mosquito bites per day. That sounds exaggerated, but it's not. And I had so much anti-mosquito like lotion on me that I started feeling sick from it. Like it feels, if you use too much of it, the stuff they have in Sri Lanka, you get really sick. So it's, yeah. JB, your voice sounds cool when you have a sore throat. Yeah, my voice is a bit deeper. I've thought about that because in the mornings, I can barely speak. I woke up this morning, but it's really, and my kids laugh at me, and I go like, rah, rah, rah. I pretend I'm a monster and chase them around. And yeah, I think it's because the vocal cords are more relaxed, because I couldn't make my voice sound like this when I'm healthy. So there's something that relaxes, and it's kind of nice because I can feel my whole chest vibrating like from it. Stephen, how do you find purpose in life in a state of no distortions? There is no purpose. You don't need purpose. That's the whole thing. You to believe the purpose is necessary, you need to have a self that needs a purpose. I actually had a long discussion with my fiancé today. We had lunch together out in the forest. And we were talking about distortion, and she said, I just want to feel better. I just don't want to feel bad. Like when things go down, and you can feel a bit, things are heavy. I just don't want to have those dips. I just want to feel good. And I said, yeah, that's like, and I want to feel like that the whole time. And I said, I don't think that's possible. I don't know anyone who's able to do that. But there seems to be a way where you can take away the whole part of this sensation of someone being there, meaning no self, where there's simply nothing reacting. And I tried to describe it to her. There's this, the reason I talk about this differently is because I perceive this differently than most people. I'm sure there are others who have similar things, and I've met others who have. I met one guy who had the physical symptoms, at least. But I know there are other ways you can have this. So basically, to understand this, and I'll get to your question soon, Stephen, I have 3 herniated discs in my neck. From when I was a scuba diver, I would be a follow guide. When I was following, I would look up and I'd basically squeeze out the discs in my neck. And that puts a lot of pressure, and it's absolutely terrible. It's ruined my sleep since 2008, I think it was. I've had so much pain and suffering from that. It's incredible. You have no idea how much I've suffered from that. It's been really tough. I can't wear any collars. I can't wear shirts. I have such a limiting wardrobe, because if I have anything that even touches here, I have pain. I wake up in the night and I have a fever because I'm just so cramped. But what that has done is that after I had my first cycle in the Theravadan tradition, at least, and I completed my first jnana cycle, I've constantly had from up here down to my like the bottom of my hip, like a standing pressure, like a wave, what people would call energy. It every second of my life since 2010, I've had that all the time. It never disappears. Like people talk about feeling energies, it never stops for me. But what is interesting is that when I go into what I call non-centric states or non-dual states, that is gone. That pressure is not there. So it's kind of like a biofeedback mechanism that helps me see how should I use my awareness, because I know when that happens and that collapses, then the non-centricness comes up, and that's when I just walk around and there's no pressure towards the world around me. There is no feeling of I am here and I have a relationship to this. I'm putting pressure against it. Instead, everything is just there. It's like an open slate with just stuff around you, and it's not threatening, it's not scary, it's not either something I need to have or that I want to. It's just there. And the very fact of being alive is so fulfilling. When you say you need a purpose, you believe you need a purpose because if you can figure out what to do, then you will be fulfilled. I'm saying that if the sense of self disappear, you will feel fulfilled all the time. There's nothing you need to do to feel fulfilled. And we kind of don't understand that because we're so used to being like whipped or having a carrot in front of us that lures us to go somewhere. So since I have this injury here that has created this pressure, and that makes it very easy, not easy, but easier for me to understand, okay, when I use my mind in this way, when I use my awareness in this way, that disappears. And I can feel it, how when I'm sitting with something and then it just goes down, and it feels like it kind of just collapses down and disappears. And I've spoken to other people who can feel that part, or they can feel their muscles relaxing, and then there's a sense of something changing. It's just that I have that the whole time, like it never stops. So therefore it's very easy for me to feel when things happen. And I also feel the world around me, like my fiance and I can feel before she does when she's in a bad mood. And I can feel when she drops something before she does, or at the same time. So I feel everything between us really, really strongly, which can be quite annoying sometimes for her and for me. So this pressure is like a blessing and a curse. I've thought about that, like my life would be so different without it. But I don't think I would give it up. if I could go back and not have this injury, because without that, I think I would have just been barely a mediocre meditator. I would never, what I call the distortion method, with understanding how it's about enjoying yourself, and how it's about being forgiving, how it's about about being in a good mood, and how it's about enjoying and appreciating the world around you, like what you're experiencing. Not, oh, I appreciate that I have this room and it's mine. No, really appreciating the beauty of the world around you. Like when you're outside and you see nature, or sitting inside and watching a wall, it's the same thing. All of that stuff comes from me just observing, how do I react when these things change? And because of that, that's how I develop my practice, which is why I with quite strong certainty can say, okay, this makes no sense. Like when people talk about law of attraction, it's very clear to me that they're not talking about the same thing. They're talking about making your life better to get more stuff, which, I mean, that's fine. I mean, I would like to have more stuff. Actually, I don't need more stuff, but I would like to have more money so that I could fix our house up, or so that I can have more time off and do more videos. So it's not that there's anything wrong with it, but that has nothing to do with like overcoming the sense of self. That's just another way of getting stuff. And you're kind of luring yourself to believe that you're spiritual and you're at night on this higher path where you're just doing the same. I don't really see any difference between anyone going out saying, I'm going to have $1 million or $10 billion. That's my goal. I'm going to be a billionaire. I'm going to go out and have all these cars and a private jet. That's my goal. And someone saying, I'm going to go out and I'm going to communicate with all these spirits, and I'm going to be a light weaver and have all these magical, euphoric experience. For me, it's the same thing. It's like it's the same misguided belief that you will be fulfilled when you have that, because when you have those things, you're just going to want more of those things. It never stops. I'm talking about stopping the whole process. Hey, Nicole, nice to see you. I haven't seen you for a while. I hope you're well as well. So that was the explanation to purpose, Stephen, that you're still thinking as if you have a sense, I mean, obviously, because you have a sense of self. And as long as you do that, it won't really make any sense. And it also doesn't make any sense to try to bypass that and say, oh, well, I understand now. I shouldn't want those things because they're the same. Because then you're just ignoring them and pushing them down. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to actually feel how that feels. And you kind of need to look for your purpose and believe you found it, and understand that, okay, well, I still want things. Like I'm not satisfied. And you'll find that if you do things that are in alignment with what you want the world to be like, what you believe in, your values, then it will be much easier to live life, and you'll have less distortion and friction. But that is not an I almost said a final solution, but it's something completely different that we don't want to do. Like a ultimate solution to your problems, meaning overcoming this sense of self, like getting rid of this sense of self, so that there's just peace all the time. Which is why when my fiance said, I just want to feel better the whole time, like I just want to feel good the whole time, I said, I don't believe that's possible. I think you need to actually overcome the self completely to do that, because I've never ever met anyone who doesn't have ups and downs. They're more stable, but it requires them to have a very controlled world that they live in to be able to do that. Does that make sense, Stephen? That's a good question. How you been, Nicole? I haven't seen you for a while. Did anyone see the latest video, by the way? The one about, how did I call it? Stop meditating. It was meditation wasting your time. Did anyone see that? I found it kind of funny, because I can see in the statistics how many subscribers come in, and how long people watch, and how many people watch it, and where they come from. And that video, I think I've lost, I think it's 2 people who have kind of unsubscribed, or 4 people, I don't remember, which is not normal. But I see it as a good thing, because there's a lot of people who watch my channel who simply aren't into what I talk about, but they just came because they wanted general random spiritual stuff, and that's not me. So I'm always happy when they disappear. But I thought it was funny, because I like the video. I thought it was a really nice video. I woke up early one morning, which I do quite often from the back pain. And I just thought I want to make more videos, but I have no time. So I just sat down, like right behind me here, in the office chair, and I just recorded a video, generated a thumbnail just quickly out. I think it took me an hour and a half to produce that video, from like filming to cutting to uploading and doing titling, which is really nice. Let's see, I saw the video. It was great. Happy to hear, Nicole. Like I said, I like it, but there's a lot of people who don't. So for me, when I started out, I'd be like, oh no, people are losing. But what I want is people like Nicole to like the video, because I know that Nicole sees the world similarly to what I see. And I don't want people who don't agree with that to come here. I'm not trying to convince anyone. I always say I just preach to the choir, because I have no interest in changing anyone's mind. If they don't want this, then I have no interest at all in changing them. Like, do whatever you want to, and if you somehow in the future change your mind, then you're welcome to come and look. Oh, nice you saw it also, Nadia. Stephen, makes sense, but don't we always have to strive for something to keep from being lazy? Why? Why do you need to do that, Stephen? Why do you need to strive to keep from being lazy? I mean, I know it sounds obvious, like of course I have to, but why? I've been really bad this spring. My neck has been worse for a long time, and then it has for a long time. And I've been waking up anywhere between 1 and 3 o'clock at night. And absolutely terrible. And I, like when I sleep that little, means I sleep sometimes 2.5, 3 hours to 5 hours if I have a good night. It's really tough functioning when you sleep that little. But then when I sleep that little, it makes me question, like, why am I doing this? Why am I stressing about things? Why am I worrying about taking out another sick leave day? Because if I have a day like this, before I would just, okay, I'm gonna not be lazy. I'm gonna be strive forward, get through it. And I'm like, I'm gonna die. I am literally gonna die. I think if I sleep this little and continue doing, I'll be dead within 10 years. There's just no way I can survive long term with this little sleep. I just, if you would know the toll it takes on me, I'm 47 years old. My body can't handle it, and I'm really good at handling a lack of sleep. So then I ask myself, why? Why should I strive for that? Why is it so important that the world becomes the way I want it to be? Why not let the world be the way it is? And then I move within the world, and I enjoy the world as it is. Still changing things, but not hinging my happiness or my enjoyment of being here because of that. Nadia, would you consider using sleeping tablets for long term? If I need to. I mean, if you would tell me that would be a long-term solution, absolutely, for sure. Like, sleeping that little is just, it's difficult. I can't listen to people. I can't focus. I get irritated at my children. I can't do anything. I just sit and, like, I'm not able to start because I'm so tired that I just can't function. So I need to sleep during the day, meaning I can't work full time. And I'm very fortunate that I live in Sweden, so I can take a few months to, like, really get back on track. And I just got stronger sleeping pills to kind of get out of that. And it's worked. It's getting better, so I'm not that bad right now. But when I recorded that video, I had been up since, I can't remember, but very early. Nicole, when my back pain was bad, it always woke me up at night because the discs swell. Then I heard my osteopath said when you lie down, something about the pressure in the neck getting worse. I can't remember. One more thing about what Stephen said, don't we need to strive? So it's very difficult if you haven't experienced what it's like to be without a sense of self, to understand that you would do something. You have to experience it yourself. Because we are so used to believing, like, I feel uncomfortable here, so I'm going to move over here. That's basically striving. I'm not comfortable here. I'm going to strive to get over there. But I can't just stay here. When you feel good, when you enjoy being here, when you feel forgiving, when you don't have pressure towards things around you, that means you're accepting the world as it is. This is how the world is. And you're fine with that. You're okay. You're peaceful. You're calm. You can really see it. And then you can see it clearly. Because otherwise you go in and you see something, like you judge it from your past experiences and from your beliefs, what you like, you don't like, your personality, whatever. And then you go, okay, this is wrong, this is right. And you go in and you start fighting and you try to do things. When you don't have that, you go in and you see that, and then you can see it clearly. You say, oh, this is happening. Well, actually, since I don't have my presupposed judgment of these kind of situations, I can see this situation as it actually is and make a choice of what to do. But I don't do it by a feeling of discomfort or need to get somewhere else. So there really is no need to fully understand this, because you can't. And I'm not saying that to say you're dumb, you don't get it. I literally mean you cannot understand it until you experience it, because it makes no sense. Like, why would you do anything if you felt content? But imagine if you're just sitting in the... I had it yesterday evening. The kids came home, and we were cooking, and they were quite loud. And I said, let's go outside. And I put 2 mattresses on the terrace. And my daughter came out, and my son was there. And we're sitting, and like, hey, how are you doing? And we were just sitting there talking. And I had taught my daughter actually how to bike without her support wheels. And I was sitting with my son, and he like, Papa miss, and then they miss Papa. He said he misses me, and he kind of cuddled up. And they feel so good when I just sat there. I didn't need them to do anything. I didn't need them to be quiet. I didn't need them to be good, to be bad. I was just there, enjoying myself, and they just soak it in. They're so happy with being accepted, without being judged, without having, just being there with them. And my daughter was just having such a good time. It's like, Papa, can we take off my support wheels for the bike and we can practice? And my first instinct was, no, you can't do that. Like, we're going to eat soon. We're like, why not? So we just did it. And she was so thrilled. And I could see how if I would have been like with this sense of self, like, no, we're going to eat soon. We can't do this because you're going to get messy. You might if you fall down. But if I take all of that away, I can just say, well, she wants to do it now, and I want her to learn how to bike, and I want to support her. Why not? Why not? And then I just do it, but I don't do it because I feel bad if she does it or if she doesn't do it. I do it because in that situation, that makes sense to me to do. And that changes from time to time, which means that you can't really know how that person is going to behave. I am still me. I still have my understanding and my knowledge of the world. That doesn't really change, but I'm not acting on feelings of what is right and wrong. I acting on what I really want to do. Nadia's saying, you may need to think about it, Martin. My mom has been taking them for more than 20 years now, and they do help. Yeah, but it also goes in waves, Nadia. When I feel better and there's not so much neck pain, then I sleep. So actually, sleeping pills for me can be stronger muscle relaxants, which I've gotten, and they actually help quite a lot. So I used to be anti-sleeping pills. Now I'm very open for, in periods, doing it. And if I need to do it long term, by all means. I mean, like I said, functioning without sleep long term is very difficult. This cold has lasted for a long time. It might actually be too cold, so I'm wondering if I got a second one. My fiancé has it now also, but I think it's a different one from what I got. It's just nice to be able to enjoy yourself without any reason. It's not about being happy with what you have or accepting what you don't have. It's about enjoying you, just you being you. The best way that you can see it in someone would be to see an infant. If you ever seen an infant that kind of snuggles up to the bosom of their mother, and they're just lying there and just like all content, and they open their eyes and they look up and they look around and they just look at things. And there's a flower and there's a bee, and they just sit and watch it. And then they get a little bit hungry and go and they sleep a little bit. Burp. They burp. They open their eyes again, they look around, just fascinated by the world. That peacefulness, that calmness, imagine having that when you're an adult. Why would you need to go out and earn all that money? Why would you need to go out and win the game? You don't need those things to feel the wonder at being alive that a child does, an infant does. We discussed that also with my fiancé, and I said if I could choose between living in a hut in the forest and being completely free from the sense of self, in other words, experiencing the world like that the whole time, or living in a mansion with lots of servants and everything taken care of and as much money as I could ever want, whatever I wanted, there's no question that I would choose living in the forest with non-centric way of experiencing the world. It's not even close. It's just obvious when you experience the world, because it's just so much more enjoyable to live life like that, to not have to fight to be alive, to not have to fight the world, but to be accepting and okay with the world. And then you do whatever changes you want, but you are still okay with the world being the way it is. People try to come up with words like unconditional love, and they try to wrap their brains around like, I'm going to forgive them, but how do I forgive them because I don't like it? But if you just forget all of that and stop using words that have inherently distortion in them, and just see it's all about just letting go of the distortion, of just being okay with the world being the way it is, of being in a good mood while you're forgiving. In other words, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And as you do that, you'll see that all of a sudden you start seeing the world around you, reflections, shadows, lights, texture, curvature. And when you do that, you enjoy just using your senses. And then you appreciate using your senses. I got enjoy and appreciate from being in Plumvillage, but they would say just enjoy everything and feel gratitude. Gratitude is you're thankful for something you got. That's not what we're after. We're after appreciate, meaning appreciating that it's nice to be here. I see JVB. Why is it that when you're not looking for someone, the universe sort of introduces you in a serendipitous manner, someone you like? That goes into law of attraction stuff, kind of. But it is interesting because it seems to be that the way we talk about distortion also is resistance, kind of. I don't think it's about trying to get things to come to you. It's just that when you feel at ease, stuff just comes to you. I have it all the time. My friends joke about it because it's kind of crazy. I meet people when I need them, and when I need help with something, I always get that. I just get enough. Again, people are not calling me up saying, like, hey, do you want $1 million? I mean, that would be very nice, but that unfortunately is not happening. But when I need help with something, I meet someone who can help me. When I need to find something out, I find someone who can help me with that. There's just this, it always seems to happen for me like that. And I think it's the fact of wanting something that's a distortion, but when you're relaxed, and if you're open to it, then all of a sudden someone walks by and you don't have, they need to be like this, they should be like that. I want this thing, and you don't know. It's just someone walks by and like, oh, that's a nice person, and you're free and relaxed, and then he or she comes to you. So yeah, I agree. It seems to work like that a lot. Which is another reason of why it's good to just be okay with the world being the way it is. But if you're okay with the world being the way it is to get stuff, then you're just kind of missing the point, and you're never really going to get it because you're always trying to get something from it, which is my whole beef with spirituality, is that spirituality, the way it's practiced, is basically, it's about becoming this superhuman, and it is all about your actions. It's not about what's behind those actions. It's about becoming this person that everyone looks up to because you're so unselfish, and how it's all one, and like how you should behave instead of how you should relate to the world, meaning how you are not okay with the world being the way it is. It's actually about learning to accept the world being the way it is. Nadia, I've had that too. I've had so many people come into my life. I can see have helped me in some way. There have been definite reasons for people in my life coming. Yeah, It really is like that. And then people come into your life, and you're with them for a while, and then they move out of your life. It's like people go through our lives all the time. Well, I'm starting to feel it's getting difficult to talk. It's much better than it was before, but like I said, this cold has been... it just doesn't want to go. For those of you who are new, we usually chat like this a bit before, and then we do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method, which will be a little bit shorter today. After that, today's Thursday, so there's no guided, but we'll sit together for 20 minutes. So the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method is a way of coming back to our senses, of doing, I said you enjoy just being in a good mood, you're forgiving, but then the other part is to enjoy and appreciate what you see and experience with your senses. That's what this exercise is for. It also brings you back into your senses if you're stuck in your mind, or it's a really good exercise if you're feeling anxious or even depressed or having like a panic attack. I've done this with people in person who are having panic attacks, and it works really well for that. So the way we do it is we say out aloud 5 things that we can see. And I can see this timer. There's a vibration alarm that vibrates so loud that I get scared every time almost. Like, whoo, what's that? Now I look at this and I don't say, oh, there's a timer and this is what it is. It's like good with this, it's bad with that. But I just try to see it for what it is. It's just colors, textures, reflections, curvatures. And I can spin it around and I go, this is interesting to see what it looks like. The reflection changes. There's like 20 written here. Oh, it does like this. Oh, that's cool. That's so you can actually stand it up like that. So we try to be curious and interested in the world around us, just like an infant would be. I see a t-shirt. I see the remote control for my air conditioner. I see a pizza oven. It's been a lot of fun with that one. I see a telephoto lens. And I see a Buddha statue. There's 5 things I could see. Next we take 4 things that we can feel. I can feel the hoarseness in my throat when I talk. It's just like almost tickling up and down my throat. I can feel my woolen sofa. I can feel my teacup. It's warm. I can feel tea going down my throat. Four things I could feel. Next we take 3 things that we can hear. Oh, I can hear some beautiful bird song. And this is it, when you're not judging it and when you're not pulling or pushing towards it, but just letting it be there is like, wow, it's incredible bird sound, and it's been there the whole time. And I'm just bringing my awareness to it and letting it be there, and it's just beautiful. Now when you're really not distorting, then the fan from the air conditioner would be equally beautiful. The I can also hear the vibrations of a truck engine. Those are 3 things that I could hear. Next we take 2 things that we can smell. I can smell the coldness from the air conditioner. There's like a special scent to it. I can smell something that smells like strawberries almost, or some fruit. There was two things we could smell. Next we take one thing that we can taste. Oh yeah, of course, that's a strawberry from my throat pills. thank you for a nice sitting, and thank you for coming back. I apologize for not having been here the last few times. It's rare that I miss it, but yeah, I just felt so bad. I thought it's better. And it will also be now in July, if it's really good weather or if we have something going on. I will message beforehand because I want to have a little bit of a break during the summer, but I don't want to stop it. So it's only if there's something going on. Otherwise, we'll have every Monday and Thursday just like normally. And I'm looking forward to it. Thank you, Nadia. Thank you, Stephen. Have a great night or day, just like Stephen says, and I'll see you all on Monday.